Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Probably a familiar face here. This is Theo. You probably remember him from the flame reaction video, and we just had you another video.
What was it when your wheel almost came off?
Oh yeah, when the M3 almost killed me for God knows how many times now. We are currently in his beautiful G80 platform 340i. What year is it?
That's a 2020, 2019, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
But yeah.
2019, 2020, same shit, same car. So we are going to go on a drive, but we're going to talk about the future of the M3/3 Series platform. Stay tuned.
Yeah, if you want a daily that Fox.
Okay, so what should we touch on first?
I mean, I guess first, powertrain.
Okay, so starting off with the 3 Series.
Sure.
You know, we had in prior generations, including the E9X platform and the F30X platform, we had the N55, which we've all known to come and love over the years. It was always a very proven platform that made very good power. It was fun for enthusiasts, and it didn't take a lot of money to really do it either. It was very rewarding. BMW, I'm actually very happy with them. They upped their game, and in this chassis they introduced the B58, which is also the same engine that has been introduced in the 2020 Toyota Supra. We've seen thus far a lot of potential out of these engines. Good buddy Jordan at RK Tunes, he's the same guy who tuned my E46 M3. Shout out to him, name drop right here. He has pushed, I believe, in excess of 670 wheel horsepower on the Supra. I believe it was Adam LZ's car, and I don't know if he's cracked any more than that at this point. I haven't followed up, but needless to say, the car just came out this year, and with everything going on, to think that we can achieve that power of an inline 6 with nothing more than a turbo upgrade, catless exhaust setup, and and just like a tune on some nice fuel mixtures, and we're getting that kind of power, it's just baffling to me. I mean,
I love this engine. This it pulls super hard, it loves to make power, it sounds good, it has character. And you know, this car, I have an aftermarket downpipe on it, and you know, I probably should get a tune sometime soon, but I mean, man, I really love it. It represents a lot of great progress. I feel like if you drive this and you drive an N55, you can really feel like this car has some legs, but what has more legs than these are the twin turbo M inline 6s.
Right, so let's touch on that. Going back to the N55 generation, they came out with the S55, which was present in the F80 M3s, F82 M4s?
F82, yes,
M4, and then F87 M2s. Well, M2 comps. Right. Great engine. It had a lot of potential. Oh, what the heck do we have going on here?
I think someone's getting towed.
Oh no.
Well, sucks to be them.
Okay, while we wait for them, we'll just talk more tech. So, the S55 was an improved version of the N55. The engine architecture was very stout, well, is very stout. It comes with a closed deck block, 10.2 to 1 compression ratio. Now, and then the big thing that they changed, aside from it being a closed deck and everything I just mentioned, they had also a forged steel crankshaft, so it's very stout on the bottom end, and forged pistons. However, I believe they lacked forged rods, which we'll touch on later as to why that's become an issue. Furthermore, the big change they did over the N55 was the introduction of twin single scroll turbos. So they were able to really get a lot of juice out of these things, and I'm sure you've seen people exceeding the 600 wheel horsepower mark with ease, with just, what is it, catless downpipes and a full E85 tune, and they're cresting like 600 wheel horsepower without even touching turbos, not even touching the intakes. That's like just literally downpipes and an E85 tune, and they're making 600 wheel horsepower. That is insane out of a 3-liter inline 6. Absolutely monstrous. Now, the problems with that engine, although phenomenal, paired up with the dual clutch, it does all the shifting farts, everything that you'd expect out of a performance car. This guy on the bicycle needs to not ride my ass. Oh my god.
Oh wow, he's taking the slipstream. Hey buddy, it's not Formula 1. Get out of here.
him some burbles, scare him off. No. Yeah, you'll probably see him right behind us in this whole video, so shout out to whoever the heck is trailing so closely. So there are a couple of problems with the S55. The first one being the crank hub. As many have heard, at least the enthusiasts. If you're not familiar, BMW designed the crank hub unit, which mounts on the snout of the crankshaft, that controls all of the timing chains and whatnot for the camshafts. Now, it wasn't a one-piece unit, and the way it was manufactured was fracture critical. So these things, even on stock power levels, were known to fail, and when those fail, it pretty much throws the crankshaft and the camshafts out of sync with one another, so people would bend valves, and in some cases have even greater failures than that. I feel like bent valves is kind of being let off easy in most cases with those. So that was the big problem. And then the lack of forged rods, I think that was probably the biggest weak link in that engine. From what I've gathered over the years and seeing these cars get tuned, I haven't really seen people comfortably push in excess of like 600 wheel torque too often. Memory serves me right, a tuning buddy of mine said that these things will just fold at 650 wheel torque, which is an insane amount of power when you're talking about a relatively like compact mid-size sedan, you know, or a coupe. It's a lot of power. And it translates to really fun time on the road. But knowing this, moving on to the new M3s, which is the hot topic right now. Instagram is blowing up. There's tons of people on forums chatting about it. I'm gonna start off with this. We're not going to harp on the looks right now, okay? We'll talk about that after. Let's look at the evolution of the BMW M3s. I can personally say I've owned 2 generations. I've had the E36, I have my E46, and I will soon be adding another member to the family, which I will not tell you what it is, but you guys will really like it a lot, so stay tuned for that one. I'm very excited to share it with you guys. So I've you know, modified several E92s. I've modified my E46. I've modified some F80s. So I've been around. I've seen how they've progressed over time, and the best way that I like to put it is that you're trading off raw performance for technology and creature comforts. Not to say that these cars don't perform. As they get newer, like better, just, you know, they keep coming out new generations, they're progressively improving, and it's noticeable. Like, you hop in from one chassis to another and you feel a huge difference in the chassis agility, the way it likes to dart around, the rigidity, everything. It's a night and day difference when you go from one to the next. I can tell you, going from my E46 into an E92 M3, they feel like completely different cars. Granted, they are, I know, but it doesn't, there is, you can tell that they've shifted away from that raw, edgy kind of feel to a more refined, smooth speed feel. Would you agree with that?
I mean, if any of you guys have ever driven an older M car, whether it be E92 dual clutch or even an F80 dual clutch, you can feel that thing snaps. You feel the clutch slipping kind of when you're just even moving around in a parking lot, and it has this aggressive feel. And you know, even between the F8 and the E90s, you can feel when the dual clutch shifts in the E90, the whole car thumps, and when you get to the F8, you still feel it. It's just a little less. So what Nico's talking about, you kind of get this kind of more spaceship feel. It's like more instant speed, you know, more seamless, but that kind of takes away from driving dynamics in theater, if that's what you're into. And with this newest M3, I would say the biggest thing, and one of the main reasons we're filming this video in this car, is because they're going from the dual clutch, the M dual clutch, you know, with the famous different shift levels, and all the way since SMG, they're going to this the ZF 8-speed torque converter transmission. And that is going to be, I think, a big difference for customers of the new M3, long-time M fanboys, big-time DCT fanboys. It's going to change the feel of the car a lot, in my opinion. Here's the thing. This car shifts really fast. You'll hear that turbo fart, that ignition cut. It's fast. It shifts as quickly as I want it to, and there's no doubt that this is just an M Performance. When we roll up to the M, the true M cars, no doubt they will tune that thing to be as fast and crisp as possible. But I think there is something to be said that that the kind of this theater that comes with the dual clutch, the bump, as something to be lost. And I kind of wish BMW just invested a little more in further developing that. But I mean, hey, it's already in the M5. I guess this is the future of M. But this is one aspect of the new M3 that we find really interesting. I mean, at least there's a manual. Nico can touch more on that later. But these cars are getting more cushy. They're getting more, you know, they're getting smoother. And with that, they are definitely getting faster. There's no doubt they're getting faster. This car is really fast, and even though it's numb. But yeah, some of, you know, many driving enthusiasts may be missing that raw feel.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And, you know, there comes a time where there's the selfish wants of the enthusiasts, like, you know, for example, like us. You know, we have our selfish wants of that raw feeling and feeling all the thumps, but then we also want performance and we complain. So it's like we have to kind of let go of that and just allow for evolution of technology to kind of unfold before us, because there's so much that these engineers are bringing to the table that we don't even get to appreciate to the fullest extent. And it's just only getting better as the years go on. You know, the ZF 8-speed has been nothing but a success since its introduction.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've seen all kinds of cars. I mean, starting off with this one, for example. I wasn't ever really a fan of automatics. I've had a problem with them. I guess that was just my upbringing as a, you know, younger individual in the 2000s. It was in that weird, awkward state where it was still like some 5 speeds, then they threw in a 6-speed for a little while, then they upped it to 7-speed in some of the AMGs, like the C63, which that was more violent in a sense. It wasn't as smooth like this. And then finally, I think what really kind of shifted the market for the 8-speed was the Hellcats. I think those really just like, those put it out there. Yeah, we can shift faster with the ZF in track mode than a GTR can with dual clutch. And that's just remarkable that you can do that. And they hold a lot of power. I mean, those Hellcats, stock trannies, I've seen them push, you know, around that 1,000 wheel mark. Now, longevity, completely different argument, you know, but for the sake of just raw power and performance, I think it is a step in the right direction. Even Koenigsegg. Let's take Koenigsegg, for example. They went back to a torque converter style transmission for the, what's it called? The Regera.
I mean, that's just one gear.
Yes, but still using torque converter technology.
Yeah, to multiply that torque at low end. You're right. It's true. There are definitely the upsides to the torque converter. I mean, look, if I put this thing into sport, well, we're kind of on a windy road. Might not be the best time to demonstrate it,
but even then, just the rev matching is super smooth. The shifts, this thing, it just responds. It doesn't fight you. There was a lot of times, like back in those, you know, early 2000 years, there was such a lag. I remember in my Charger SRT8, I would upshift on the stick, and there was a noticeable pause between it registering the fact I hit the stick and then when it tells the transmission, oh yeah, shift now. Like if you wanted to shift at 6,000, you'd have to hit that bump stick, depending on what gear, at like, you know, 5,500 or like 5,000 RPM. It was insane. But so let's get back to the M3. So the new G80 M3, they made an upgrade over the S55, and now they're doing kind of what they did with the N55 platform. So they took the B58 and they made an even better version. They call it the S58. Go figure. They've been doing this for years with all non-M cars and then introducing an M engine, right? Architecturally, it's very similar. Bore and stroke remains the same. It just has 0.4 millimeters more stroke. Negligible difference, really negligible. But there's two big differences. They have almost 1 point lower of compression. They maintained the twin single scroll turbos, but now they're doing a fully forged bottom end. So you have forged steel crankshaft, forged rods, and forged pistons. And with a 9.3 to 1 compression ratio, that tells me that the M engineers have left a very, very fun car to play with. This platform is going to make big power. I wouldn't surprise me if someone in the very near future is going to start cranking up that boost, assuming the ECU will allow them to, which is something I'm not sure what M engineers have given us in there, what Easter eggs they've hidden. But I'd comfortably say that it will be of no surprise these things make 800 wheel horsepower.
Right.
Out of the box.
And actually, if you want some insight on what the new M3 is going to be like, you can go check out, you know, the X3M competition, and X3M already have this S58 inside of it. Granted, it's a crossover, but you can look, people like Pro Tuning Freaks, those guys already kind of starting to, you know, dip their toes into the platform. And these, you know, these crossovers are humiliating supercars, are humiliating sports cars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this engine is going to be fast. Like this car, 384 advertised horsepower. You know, these things dyno stock around 365, 370 wheel. And this car, sometimes, I'm going to be honest, scares me. It has all the power I could ever need. You feel the boost come on. And I could only imagine this car, let's say in competition, the M3 in competition form with 510 horsepower, you know, an extra turbo, those kind of legs. I mean, this car is going to blow C63s out of the water. You can wave the Giulia bye-bye. I mean, this thing, with simple tuning, could even take on M5s for sure.
Oh, 100%.
So the enthusiasts, you know, the M guys, you know, speed racers, whatever, this M3 is going to be fast. You know, love it or hate it, even if some guy doesn't like the looks, he might buy this car because, I mean, it is going to kick ass, frankly.
Oh, 100%. And one more thing that they will be introducing, not in 2021, but 2022, I believe.
Right.
They're introducing something from the M5. They're going to be incorporating the all-wheel drive system. Hopefully they have it to where you can disengage and get,
I believe you will. MX drive. There you go.
That's awesome. So you can disconnect the front differential, put it rear wheel, and just swing that thing around a corner. And a very close friend of mine has an F90 M5 competition, and they have that all-wheel drive system. Let me tell you, he literally flicked it like that, switched it to two-wheel drive within a split second, and then was fully, like, full tilt around a corner like that. I mean, this system is so refined, so fast. Hey, we have a straightaway. Let's give him a pull.
Sure. Even as a passenger in my own car, this thing always impresses me. So
it's incredible.
Yeah, prepare for the new M3, guys. That thing is gonna pull.
It really will, and I think that the aftermarket community is gonna find a relief, because BMW has finally come back with a very stout engine without any kind of fatal flaws. You know, nothing like, at least that we know of now. I think they've pretty much addressed rod bearings. We're not going to see that anymore. Right. Hopefully, I pray BMW, please don't let me down. Crank hub, it's an inconvenience, easily resolved. Our buddies at Gintani actually make a wonderful one-piece solution. It's, you know, people have been running them, throwing stupid power at the cars, no problems, and they sell out. So there's a reason why they keep selling out, because it is a superior product. So if you have to change that, no biggie. Consider it a bolt-on preventative maintenance item. You know, the turbos, I don't know if they've changed the size of the turbos. I haven't gotten into the specifics of that yet, but even if they didn't, you can still crank them up. E85, nice juicy tune, make some insane power. Look-wise, we'll touch on that really quick. I think they did a good job. I know I'm going to get flamed for that. I will agree, though, the front is questionable. I'm sure the aftermarket community will be jumping on that and providing a replacement bumper that may change the shape of the grills a little bit. I won't be against that, but I think the rest of the car altogether flows. It looks good, and it looks beefy. I
mean, I agree. I love this car. You know, the looks, when you compare it to other cars in the market, the C43, S5, I think this G20 340i is one of the nicest looking sedans. And, you know, you add some fender flares, you add, I think they're going to be 285 rears, 275 fronts on the new M3. This thing is going to be sitting quite thick. You know, it is kind of polarizing, but this car, I think when people see it in person, they're really going to grow to kind of like it, kind of appreciate it. You know, as car enthusiasts, we're always quick to hold on to grudges about, you know, design language, tradition, all these things. But I think we should actually kind of celebrate BMW's, you know, effort to forge into new design language. and you know, evolve. I think it's actually going to be a very positive thing. But one last technical note. Sorry, I don't want to bore you guys. I think this is important. The weight of the new M3.
Oh yeah.
This thing is going to be coming in practically just as heavy as this car in rear-wheel drive form at a minimum upwards of 3,800 pounds, which is nearly 200 pounds heavier minimum than the F80 platform. And I think that's going to be something that people definitely start to feel. I think this is one thing that BMW, I really hope, I don't know, cars are only getting heavier from here. 911s are boats nowadays. But
yeah. But you know, we'll give them a chance to redeem themselves when they come out with competition packs and, you know, maybe a GTS version of it. I have faith that BMW will address the weight. I think that, like anything, they're trying to get an all-around package, and to fit all this technology and performance, you have to compromise somewhere, and weight is going to be that. People will not buy these cars if they're taking a step backwards in creature comforts and, you know, the luxury of the car. So just to kind of recap, the new G80 M3, I have a lot of faith in it. And before, like prior M's, there's always going to be like what ifs. I really don't think there's too many to question other than the weight and the front bumper, quite honestly.
Right.
You have new design. We're going to have a brand new all-wheel drive system introduced from the M5 with the 8-speed. We have a beefed up version of the S55, so it's addressing most of the issues that we had before with that. What else? Oh, wider tires, thick stance, new body lines. It's all stepping in the right direction. I think that people will have a lot of fun on these cars. I think it's going to do really well in the market and make big power. Most importantly, big power and very easy to have fun and modify. So, any more remarks on your end? Did I miss anything?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good analysis overall. I think the market's actually going to end up really loving these cars. I can tell you people are going to love the tech, the digital dash, heads-up display, all these things. We are in the future, guys. I mean, if you want an E92 kind of car, go buy an E92. If you want an E46, go buy an E46. You know, M cars are what they're going to be now, and they're going to be fast and they're going to be fun, and we're excited to kind of bring that to you guys. Hopefully Nico will find a way, but yeah, why don't we finish with a launch control? Maybe just floor that. I mean, floor it. Like really, no, just floor the brake as hard as you can.
Okay.
Like literally harder than you think, and then full on the gas, let it build boost for a second, and let off. But
no kidding, it'll actually enable launch control.
Yeah, this car has launch control.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, you don't have to go through some old cheat code kind of.
Oh no way.
Just make sure you're pinning that brake.
Oh, look. Holy crap.
That was still 60 and definitely low 4s.
With traction control invading. Okay, so we're going to get back to enjoying this road as it is a beautiful Sunday here in Southern California. I'm OG Goon. Again, let's thank Theo for taking the time to come on and graciously allow us to have this review and discussion in his wonderful G20 340i. So,
always a pleasure.
It's great having you, buddy. That's it for this episode. We'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully in one of the new M3s. I don't know. If you want to see that. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.